We've been seeing a wonderful name of Lord Krishna, which is Govinda. Arjuna uses this in the very first chapter in the 32nd sloka. Sanjaya uses this as a reference made by Arjuna and uses it in the 9th sloka of the second chapter. What is there in this name Govinda? Govinda shows the easy accessibility of the Lord. It is such a wonderful quality of the Lord which makes us relish the name Govinda. Now, what is the context in which this is used? Sanjaya uses Rishikesa, Gudakesha and Govinda in the same sloka. We've already seen the sloka when we were discussing about Rishikesa and Gudakesha. Rishikesa means the Lord of the senses. Rishikesa means the Lord who is the Lord of all the knowledge. He is the Lord of the universe. He is the Lord of happiness. Now, Gudakesha, Guda means sleep. Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha because he has won over sleep. Gudakesha can also mean that he is won over laziness. So Arjuna says that he does not want to fight this war, right? It is not because of his laziness or his tiredness or because he wants to sleep or anything like that. It is in spite of all these things. It is because he is so upset. He is really down now. And we can understand that when we see the slokas which are prior to it. Now, what happens prior to this? In the second chapter, the 7th sloka, Arjuna actually surrenders to Lord Krishna. Arjuna says that Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Please accept me as your disciple. I am a Prapanna. I am surrendering to you. So Krishna now becomes a Acharya of Arjuna. After that, in the subsequent sloka, in the 8th sloka, Arjuna says that even if I get all these riches after winning this war, this sorrow is never going to be wiped out of me. Because I feel all my sense organs are now dried up, my indriyas are dried up. So Arjuna does not want to fight this war. After that, Sanjaya narrates this particular sloka where he says that Gudakesha speaks to Rishikesa thus and says that, Hey Govinda, Nayotsya iti Govindam. So Arjuna tells Krishna that I will not fight this war, and he refers to Krishna as Govinda. Now, why was the name Govinda used there? As I said, this is because of the situation. Usually, when we speak to our counterpart, when we speak to our friends, when we speak to our near and dear, we take advantage of them. We speak what we want to speak. But when we are speaking to senior persons, we take precautions before we speak, right? So imagine a real life situation where a person has to speak to the boss or, a MD or a CEO, or a child has to speak to the teacher or to the principal. They'll be hesitant. Whenever a senior person tells something, they will say, okay, let me do my best or something like that. But when we speak to our counterpart, we are like, no, I'm not going to do this. This is not going to be possible. So we take liberties in explaining it to them. Now here, Krishna is Govinda. Therefore, Arjuna takes liberty in saying that, hey, I'm not going to fight this war. Because actually, Arjuna has accepted Krishna as his Acharya. So he's supposed to be obedient to whatever his Acharya dictates and not say what he wants to say, right? Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. He's told that in the 7th sloka. So he should basically be telling that, hey Krishna, tell me what I am supposed to do. I'm going to listen. Instead, he is saying, Nayotsya, I'm not going to fight, and then became quiet. So Sanjaya is surprised by the behavior of Arjuna. Therefore, he says, Babuvaha. He is surprised because of this behavior. Sanjaya uvacha eva muktva rishikesham gudakeshav parantapa Nayotsya iti govindam uktva tushnim babuvaha. So here, Gudakesha addresses Rishikesa saying that Arjuna said thus, Govinda, I am not going to fight this war. And Sanjaya is surprised. He says, Babuvaha. He is surprised by the behavior of Arjuna. This name Govinda has several different meanings. We've seen that Govinda means cows, Govinda means earth. It can also refer to Vedas. It can refer to our words, our speeches, the essence of all the words. Gorvani is a very familiar term for all of us. Vinda can mean to feel, to find, to attain, to protect. So when we combine these two, a lot of meanings actually come out. This Govinda, the Lord who is the Lord of all the words, the essence of the Vedas, that particular word can be very, very powerful. So the power of this word can be seen in Draupadi's episode. All of us are familiar with the episode where Pandavas lost all their belongings. They lost everything they had, including their kingdom, including their richness, including everything because of the gambling. There was a conspiracy by Shaguni and Duryodhana. At that point, Yudhishthira also lost Draupadi. So Draupadi is brought into the court and she is treated miserably. At that point of time, Bhishma, who actually explains about law to everybody, could not really explain why this should not be done, why this is injustice, because the law was not to their side. Dronacharya, Kripacharya, everybody else in this palace, nobody could actually help Draupadi. Her husbands could not help. Govinda was not there, or Krishna was not there in the scene physically. Draupadi did not know any other way of protecting herself. She was distraught in the court in front of everybody. She decides that when none of these people are going to protect her, she will not be in a position to protect herself. So instead of protecting herself by her own capacity, she lets herself loose and addresses Krishna as Govinda. She says, Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagadam. At that point of time, the clothes started flowing infinitely that Duryodhana's brother actually lost his energy and Dhritarashtra really got frightened. Therefore, he released the kingdom back to the Pandavas. He also said that Draupadi is now free and everything was got back by the Pandavas. All this happened because of the name Govinda, which was uttered by Draupadi. Krishna's help did not stop there. In fact, Krishna became a messenger for the Pandavas because Draupadi had uttered his name during this episode. Even now, in all what we are discussing, Krishna continues to be a charioteer to Arjuna because Draupadi surrendered and uttered the name Govinda. So much of power is there in the name Govinda. When we utter it with devotion, Krishna does all what we need and beyond and protects us in all possible manner. There is another episode in Vishnu Dharma which explains about the greatness of the name Govinda. This is also explained by Swami Sri Vedanta Desikan in Tatparya Chandrika in his explanation to the Geetha. Kshatrabandhu was a sinner to whatever extent we can imagine. He was born in the Surya Kula, but he was sent to the forest by his own relatives because he was creating havoc in the kingdom. Even after going to the forest, he was troubling everybody there. He could not even allow all the saints there to perform their own yajnas and yagas. He was destructive. Kshatriyas are supposed to protect all their subjects, but he was the contrary to what a Kshatriya should actually be. Therefore, he was a bundle of sins, as we can imagine. One day, there was a Mahamuni, a sage who was going that way through the forest. He was caught in a sandstorm. Somehow, whatever happened to Kshatrabandhu, he saved the Muni. And because the sage was saved, the sage took mercy on Kshatrabandhu and said, "Can you narrate your history? I want to do something good for you." Kshatrabandhu narrated his history and he said that there is sin and only sin that I have done in my life. Nothing can ever give me salvation because I'm going to continue doing sins because that's my second nature. The Muni said, "Don't worry, even when you're doing a sin, keep repeating the name Govinda." So Kshatrabandhu says, "Okay, I can do that," and he starts repeating the name Govinda. Over a period of time, there is so much of mental clarity that Kshatrabandhu gets that he gets devoid of all his negative qualities, and by doing the Naama Sankirtana of Govinda, over a period of time, he reached the greatest abode. So Kshatrabandhu is one of the examples where even a sinner can be transformed by using Govinda Nama. Therefore, Adi Shankara says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Keep repeating Lord Govinda's name over and over and over again, because that is what is going to help you cross the ocean of the samsara sagara. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare sayanam. You're going to be born again, you're going to die again. This cycle of births and deaths is going to continue, and you're always going to be in the womb of a lady. Now, what is going to happen because of this repeated cycles of births and deaths? It's only going to cause you a lot of pain and nothing else. So if you want to come out of it, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamati. So keep repeating Govinda, 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 because that is the only thing which is going to give you salvation. So we have to keep repeating Govinda's name. There is a very interesting explanation that's given by the 44th pontiff of Ahobilimad. We call him Srimad Arayashingar. He says that all the avatars, the 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu, can be addressed by using the name Govinda. We've seen a few meanings of Govinda. I said there are more than 15 different meanings in Amarakosha, right? For samples, Matsya Avataram is where Lord Vishnu protected the Vedas. He gave us back the Vedas to attain, to protect. We said to find is the meaning of Vindati, right? So Go has the meaning of Veda. Because in Matsya Avataram, the Lord protected the Vedas, he is called as Govinda. We've already seen the Varaha Avataram, where the Lord protected the Bhuma Devi, Mother Earth. So by protecting Mother Earth, Gam Avindat Govinda, we've already seen this meaning. And in Krishna Avataram, as all of us know, because he lifted the Govardhana Giri, he was addressed to as Govinda. So he is Govinda in Krishna Avataram. Similarly, he explains every single avatara of Lord by saying that he is Govinda because of this reason, he is Govinda because of that reason. And all the 10 avatars are attributed to the name Govinda. So when we say Govinda, we are actually remembering the Lord of all the 10 avatars which was taken by Lord Vishnu. It's an amazing, beautiful explanation to Govinda. So Govinda's greatness can be said, it is plenty, it is unending greatness. So when should we use the name Govinda? Govinda was used when the Pandavas lost everything, when Draupadi lost everything, she had nothing there. At that point of time, they got back everything, and not only what they had earlier, they got back a lot more. Now when Arjuna uses the name Govinda, the world is getting the entire Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Vedas, right? Govinda is the person who is addressed to as Govinda because he is the essence of words, he is the essence of all the Vedas. So when we repeat Govinda, we will get everything which we think we've lost. We will get all our lost riches, all our lost wealth. Whatever we think has been lost can be got back to us. Not just that, Krishna will give us a lot more than what we can ever imagine is life. Therefore, let's keep reciting Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Let's recite Lord Krishna's names and be blessed.
Madhava Achyuta Krishna Hare Rishikesha Kesava Govinda Vasudeva Bhagavan Janardana